This podcast you're listening to right now is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/bonfiresidechat. Over 100,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
Some of our landings were desperate adventures. We are now prepared to meet the inevitable counterattacks with power and with confidence.
My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Kole Ross.
And you're listening to Bonfireside Chat Appendix,
where we ask you to reach out and touch the demon inside of us.
Mm-hmm. And touch you did.
Yes.
This is where we're going to be reading errata from the from our last episode, the intro episode, and then also your responses about 1112, the episode that you listened to last week. We were joined by Jason Killingsworth. Thank you very much again, Jason, if you're listening, for joining us. It was a lot of fun. We really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so let's get started with the errata. Mahmoud writes in via contact. This is unrelated, but he actually is listening from Iraq. So thank you very much.
Which is awesome.
Yeah,
I read that, and that made my day for a little bit. Like, I was just like, oh, thanks. That's fantastic. It's very very cool to hear people listen from all parts of the world. Mm-hmm. It makes me worry that because I know I can not always be cognizant of the fact that not every single person is a straight white American male aged 18 to 35. Like I do my best to do that, but it makes me think back and think if I've ever, I know I haven't said anything blatantly offensive, but if I've ever been sensitive about anything like that, it just kind of makes me think like, oh, I should be more careful because there are people in disparate corners of the world. See, even there, like I shouldn't call it a disparate corner. Yeah. On some maps, it's the center of the world. What am I doing? Stop me, Cole.
I'm just watching you dig.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have, to be fair, in my office at work, I have an upside down map.
Okay.
And I north is not up. I try to be as aware of that as possible in my daily life. Yeah.
Wait a minute. When did north being up become a political stance?
It's because it's perspective. Like we put, we put north things at the top of the world because we think in those ways.
Okay.
But to somebody in like South America, south would be up.
Okay.
It's a perspective message.
I got you.
Remember it, people. Remember it, kids.
No, I just
have
a globe where all of the details are on the inside because we are living on the inside of a hollow Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same basic idea.
Yeah.
It's all about perspective.
Yeah. So
the stars are pinholes where God has sprinkled down acid droplets from his like gaping three-toed maw. And,
why does his maw have toes?
Because he's an eldritch monstrosity.
Okay, cool. So casual xenophobia aside, Mahmoud writes in to correct us. I don't know if you noticed, but the enemies that turn into bright light and disappear when you kill them are enemies that don't respawn. And that's in Demon Souls. Maybe the ones that disappear in Dark Souls have something in common or something to do with the lore as well. So that's something that we didn't mention. Just like in Dark Souls, there are enemies that do not respawn. Here in Demon Souls. Another thing is that when you kill an enemy with one critical hit, you get more souls, and the sound effect of souls getting sucked into you is also louder, which is something that I liked and encourages you to do it. Again, speaking to that Pavlovian kind of, we're going to reward you with an awesome sound when you do an awesome thing.
Which I didn't purposely neglect to mention. I just didn't notice those things. Like the fact that they turn into that kind of bright light when they disappear, I just didn't pick up on it, I guess. And a little bit embarrassing. And then that critical hit thing in Demon Souls, I also did not notice. Yeah. So I know that doesn't speak well to my observational skills, but that is the case. That's the truth.
Yeah. I think it's different. So the critical hits in Dark Souls, they do that when you land them. I don't think that happens in Demon Souls. And
that sounded like the parry noise to me.
The what?
The parrying sound effect. That sounds like parrying.
Yeah. So that's a critical. You know what? Yeah, the critical hits in this one are different. Disregard all of that.
Yeah. Yeah, like that sound, and that sound is, just speaking to that Pavlovian thing, that sound is extremely satisfying in Demon Souls, and maybe a little bit more so. Like, I think I talked about this in the first episode, but the backstabs and ripostes are way more brutal and cool looking.
Yeah.
in this game than in Dark Souls, at least until you get the Hornet Ring, which changes your animations in Dark Souls. And Demon Souls, though, the way, like, I love that backstab where you, like, actually have to kick off their back to pull out your weapon.
Yeah.
It's such a good animation.
Yeah. My character's using a mace right now, and that backstab animation is really cool.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen a blunt weapon.
Yeah, it's really just kind of like, I'm going to just maul you with this thing.
That's
like,
awesome.
It's like, I'm going to lay you low with my staff.
Yeah, that's very cool. All right. So thank you, Mahmood. Take says via contact, not sure if you guys noticed this, but the two blacksmiths are the same kind of creatures as the lizardmen / scale miners in World 2. In the loading screen, you can see that they have scales on their bodies. I don't think Urbane's female follower was the guard. That's the other dude. She's just some chick who survived the events thanks to her magic stone, which turns out to be a pure faith stone, which you can get if your faith is high enough and Urbane hasn't been saved yet. She gives it to Urbane if you meet him first, or if she meets him first.
Right. So, like, my ignorance on that tip is just because I never really did anything with Urbane in my first playthrough.
Me either. Like, this is speaking to our relative lack of experience with Demon Souls. You know, like, I played through it, like, I keep saying this, I played through it less, I've seen less of it. So this is something I try to do a kind of a pure faith character, and he just kind of transitioned into a strength character because there wasn't, you know, the spells just weren't that fun to play with, you know, which, like, I ended up kind of exploring at length on the Let's Play I did with the faith thing. It's still kind of not that, like, there's a little bit more vocabulary to it, a little bit more breadth, but I've never done that kind of faith thing.
Right.
So yeah, again, it's not ignorance rather than a purposeful omission. So I guess that's why it's errata.
Yeah. About the blacksmiths, though, I always wondered why I thought they looked weird, and that speaks to it.
Yeah. I saw. You can see, and you can really see the scales more on Boldwin.
Yeah.
During that cutscene, and I was like, oh, okay, you know, that is really, really odd. But yeah, that makes sense. They're from there. That's where, you know, blacksmithing, you know, would be, and Ed has just kind of escaped from there, and or Boldwin rather, and then Ed, you know, remain. That's great. Yeah. That's a really, really good observation that we did not put together.
Yes, thank you, Take.
Yeah, thank you, Take.
Yeah. So, and then continuing our world tour, we have. Oh, man, I'm going to butcher your name, and with this comment, it makes me feel so bad. Again, casual xenophobia. But Kormakur Gararsson?
That's how I would say it.
Yeah.
I'll support you.
Wrote in
we
via
live
Facebook.
And die as one.
Yes. Wrote in via Facebook. So in the previous episode, I made a claim that the Maiden in Black's accent came across as, like, Icelandic. However... he, I believe, says, you know, I have one niggle with your first episode. As an Icelander, I can attest that the Lady in Black's voice actress does not have an Icelandic accent at all. Don't know what kind of accent it is, but it sure ain't Icelandic. Yeah. So I made that, I said that before I did any kind of research. The voice actress, you can't actually find anything on her. Like, there's a picture, and that doesn't tell anything about her, you know, ethnicity.
She's not wearing, like, a jersey? Or like a specific,
like she is not, you know, waving a flag as I do, you know, in order to communicate to everybody that I am indeed an American. But she had, like, so I based that on her name, and because my web browser is acting up, I can't look it up right now. But it is not, you know, she's not like Sandy Jones. It seems like an ethnic name to my ears, and also because the voice, like, the accent, is vaguely similar to Fran in Final Fantasy XII, and I know that is intended to kind of, like, evoke, you know, kind of like Northern Europe and Scandinavia. So
yeah. So yeah, we definitely didn't mean any offense by that.
Nope.
I mean, Cole didn't mean any offense by that.
So we live and die as one, Gary.
So later, Warner.
Don't take my jet ski. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely didn't mean anything by that. You know, again, this is this series of crimes of ignorance. Yeah, that's what section. Bonfireside Chat : Crimes of Ignorance. The new paperback from Robert Ludlum. Like
they're gonna put an exhibit at the Freedom Center here in Cincinnati of us, just like really awkward pictures of us, like trying to block our face from the camera, just like these monsters.
Yeah. Kole Ross believes everyone who has an ethnic name is from Iceland. Chunk. Do you want to support someone who thinks everyone from an ethnic name is from Iceland? Vote Gary Butterfield. This campaign has been brought to you by the Commission to Support Gary Butterfield.
Gary
Butterfield.
Gary Butterfield insists on putting all of his maps upside down. He says it's a matter of perspective. Do you want to live in a world where up is down? Vote Kole Ross to keep your feet on the ground. Kole Ross 2013. Shunk.
Why haven't we done a sketch that is structured around that yet? For a watch out for fireballs.
Do you want me to cut that out?
No. It's a sneak preview. You can watch the idea being born. Kole Ross lives in Cincinnati, Ohio. Shunk. Cincinnati, Ohio? This campaign is brought to you by Gary Butterfield for 2013.
Gary Butterfield lives in Portland. But did you know Portland is not directly on a coast? What kind of port is inland?
Kole Ross thinks there's only one kind of rice.
God damn it.
That will haunt you to your grave. Dogs can't look up. There's only one kind of rice.
You took my jet ski. Okay. So.
And this is, I'll read two of them because this is short. And this is not actually a comment, but Allison, from last time who made the awesome Lego Dark Souls fan art, made another piece of it. You can find it. We'll include the link. It's also on our Facebook page. It is the Hellkite dragon at the bridge. Mm-hmm. And God is it. I mean, we said it last time. Dark Souls Lego set. Dark Souls action figures now.
Please now.
Now.
Yeah.
Awesome work, Allison.
Yeah. Awesome work. Like not just for the model, but for the photography. Awesome depth of field in that.
Yeah, it's difficult to photograph like action figures and things like that. Kind of using conventional, just taking a cell phone or something like that. Like it's hard to do as somebody who's sold a lot of action figures on eBay can attest. So well done.
Yeah. Cool.
Moving on to the responses.
Good.
Or I was gonna do two because Allison's was short.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you guys very much for your. Sorry to cut you off. I feel like we're caught in a loop, like a recursive loop of apologizing to each other. Were you just going to wrap up that section?
I was. I'm sorry you feel that way though.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry that I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I apologize. So that's it for the errata section. If you have any corrections on our 1.1 and our 1.2 or feedback on what we said about that, please send them in to duckfeed.tv/contact. Mm-hmm. And if you have any responses on 2.1, which we will be discussing with Beep, go ahead and also send them to that same address. Moving on to your responses. Osmosis says via Something Awful about 1.1 and 1.2. I remember these levels as the first time I played a game that accurately captured the feeling of visiting medieval castles. Amazing level design. The Souls games to date are the only games I've played to do this successfully. The mossy brickwork, the defensible narrow stairways, and understated uniforms of the men-at-arms that form the core defensive force all serve to reinforce this feeling. They also work really well as a sort of baseline of normality to offset the weirdness of other worlds.
Yeah. Comparing Latria to this, ostensibly they should be similar, just because they are both gigantic structures that were built by a civilization or in service to a civilization. Using this as a contrast for what comes later is definitely a good observation.
Yeah. Latria is super cuckoo bananas. And we talked a lot about that kind of defensibility, everything during the episode. So well observed, Osmosis.
Yes. You rule, as does our next contactor, Chase, who wrote in via the contact page. Demon's Souls is what prompted me to get a PS3, back when the game first came out. A super hard game in a fantasy setting? Sign me up. I would make attempts at it time and time again, but after fighting my way to the Iron Golem and getting utterly destroyed, I decided that this game was not for me. I believe he's referring to the Tower Knight. Mm-hmm. Apparently, I was wrong. I just needed Dark Souls as a primer. The 1.2, though, fuck those dogs. There is one major difference between the two games that is worth discussing, though. Throughout Dark Souls, you are fighting your way through a series of hollows, beasts, and deceitful demigods, all of which would mean you harm under any circumstance. In the land of Boletaria, many of your foes are healthy-looking humans, which made me consider what this must look like from their side. They're guards, defending their home, when this phantom comes out of the rock and starts rolling through their crates and stabbing their homies. I'm not saying it's any more or less morally questionable than any other game, or that From was trying to make a statement, this isn't Spec Ops, but it certainly lends to the tone of the game.
We talked about during the episode that like the soldiers are definitely human. So I kind of assumed they were in league with a lot, but maybe they don't know.
Yeah.
Like maybe they do see you as an. I mean, I guess they have to know there's dragons and shit everywhere.
Yeah.
But maybe they don't know that you are not part of this like demon force. That's really interesting. I have not thought about that before.
Yeah. Like Dark Souls goes such a long way to dehumanize all of your enemies. You know, just they're far gone, or they're on their way to being too far gone. That, you know, when you kill an actual human, you know, if you opt to kill any PCs or you know anything like that, it feels there's a huge amount of gravity to it, right? Whereas in this, you're killing things that are by all, you know, to all appearances human, right?
Yeah, and the game actually, now that I'm thinking about it, bears that out in each of the worlds. So like in World 2, you're coming upon a lot of miners that are just like kind of doing their job. World 3, you know, there are those guardsmen who are guarding the asylum, but there are also prisoners who will not, you know, many of which will not attack you and just attempt to like kind of paw at your the hems of your clothing, which I killed a lot of them to get them out of my way. Yeah. And then 5, like that's
entirely,
you know, that's a really great observation. Like, you know, the fact that you are kind of more of an invading force in this game than you are in Dark Souls, when you're more on kind of a pilgrimage. That's a really good point.
Monsters? They look like monsters to you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
Good job, Chase.
Boom. Mind blow of the week.
Yeah, I know. Drop mic, walk away.
I can't. It's on a boom.
Yeah, I know. We'll just knock it off your table.
Damn it. I have to flip the table. I think we've covered this. I need to flip the table to drop the mic. So,
Joe via contact says, 1-1 was the most important area to me for a very simple reason. The bastard sword. You see, when I first bought Demon Souls, the difficulty put me off. I wasn't used to it, so I neglected to play it again until I came across the anime and manga series called Berserk. For the uninitiated, Berserk is a series about Guts, a man with a sword larger than himself, kicking serious ass in a world extremely similar to the Souls games. Google Berserk/Demon Souls comparison to see what I mean. Being all pumped up for some medieval action after watching Berserk, I decided on a whim to have another shot at conquering the Boletarian Palace. I don't know which deity arranged for it, or if the stars were just aligned in my favor that day, but by pure luck, I found the bastard sword. That's when it clicked in my mind. I was now Guts. I was hooked, playing and beating the game over and over again, building cosplay characters based off characters from all sorts of books and shows. And that's how I fell in love with the Souls series. When the expansion for Dark Souls was released, along with a loyal and accurate tribute to Guts in the form of Artorias, even down to his armor design and corruption in the Abyss mirroring Guts' armor, and being devoured by the Abyss, it became my favorite game series of all time. Whenever a new Souls game comes out, my first playthrough will always be a no-shield warrior with a greatsword. I did it for Demon Souls, and I did it for Dark Souls, all because of a manga named Berserk, and a bastard sword located in 1-1.
Very well stated, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that observation, I have not read any Berserk. I'm going to rectify that one way or another.
Yeah. I have the first volume. It's actually pretty good.
Cool. Are you done with it? Have you read it?
Yeah, I've read it.
I wonder if I could borrow that from you when you come up, and I'll media mail it back to you.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that would be perfectly fine.
I mean, I guess I should probably just get them, but yeah, maybe I'll just do that. We'll see. But anyway, I'm going to make that, we're going to make that jump, before too long. So, yeah.
Yep. No, it's becoming inevitable that we're going to have to address it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So stay tuned, people.
Yep. John via contact says, I wanted to pass along a non-spoiler piece of relief. Couldn't think of a better antonym for a warning, as you will see in a story. During my first playthrough of Demon's Souls back in 2010, I vividly recall being in the Nexus, standing next to the Maiden in Black, and haphazardly setting my controller down on the coffee table. The angle at which I had placed the controller down caused the R2 button to be pressed, resulting in a truly horrifying swing of my Uchigatana straight at the Maiden. Having already assisted several NPCs to finding a new resting place, I instantaneously knew this was potentially a game-ending or at least a game-ruining mistake. As the animation was taking place, I dove across the coffee table in a desperate attempt to remove the power cable from my PS3. I succeeded, or at least I thought so. When I reconnected the cable and re-entered the game, I stood witness to the death of the Maiden in Black. I started to freak out, but watched as she resurrected. Thankfully, no damage was done. I had not ruined my game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I did two things about that. One is so I killed the Maiden in Black for the first time with this evil guy I'm trying to make, do Black World Tendency stuff with. When she stays dead for like a surprisingly long amount of time, enough to make you worry. When she gets up, she apologizes, which is really heartbreaking. She's like, I'm so sorry, but I cannot die. Like, she's just like really, really, and that plays into my thinking of the ending actually, which was really cool. And then 2, I killed the Dragon God in 2-3, put down my controller. I was using a great shield. The L2 was pushed down, and that causes you to do this kind of attack that steps you forward. And while I was in the bathroom, my character walked off the cliff into the lava. Yep. So not too big a deal. Like I started from the arch throne right outside the dragon. Like I lost my human form and I darkened my world tendency a little bit. But at first I was like, holy shit. And there's something about PS2 or PS3 controllers where like if you set them down, like the buttons are pretty sensitive for that.
Right.
Yep. So I definitely understand that feeling.
Oh, but the world is mended.
Yep, the world was mended. And finally, Franz says via contact, or Franz, some completely unfounded speculation about the Nexus. Maybe some powerful wizards bound the old one there and placed some great big wards around it, oozing all kinds of magical energy. A couple of aeons later, a wandering entrepreneur comes by and notices there's enough energy here to power portals all around the kingdom. Bulletary Express Teleportation Services is founded, and he never bets, which he never stops to consider where the power all comes from. So why do all the portals conveniently lead to greater demons? This is a question of cause and effect. Did the demons appear there because the portals were there, or did the portals go there because of the demons? Since Bulletary Express Teleportation Services was founded before the fog came, I guess the demons appeared where they did because they were attracted to the power from the old one seeping through the portals. Side note, in my mind, the fog in Demon's Souls is the same stuff as the mist in the movie The Mist, which makes both the game and the movie considerably more awesome, and makes our mist links of note count for the year up to about like 6. So you guys have all, I'm not going to put that in links of note, you guys have all see The Mist.
Yeah, see The Mist.
We keep referencing
so good.
Yeah, we keep referencing it. And there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, the idea that the demons came to because I was questioning when we were talking about it being a teleportation system how silly it was it went through this Eldritch cathedral to get to places, but maybe the Eldritch Cathedral and the places it gets to being super dangerous are, afterthought. Right. Is what Franz is positing. Which is interesting idea.
Yeah, I think the Nexus will always confound us. But my current way of thinking about it, it's kind of like minor Mass Effect spoilers, but it's only for the first game, and all the rest of them have kind of like revealed this. So the idea that the teleporters, like the Mass Effect relays, were kind of left here by an older civilization to kind of facilitate the spread of galactic civilization as races find them. And so that when the Reapers come through to harvest for material, it makes it so that humanity kind of like, or not humanity, but like life forms around these predictable paths throughout a vast galaxy. So it's just kind of like, okay, we just go along the interstates and then chew through as many people as possible. I kind of see it like that. Almost.
Yeah, like civilizations start near rivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. So I still don't know if I buy, like, I'm still, like you said, the Nexus is always going to confound us. Mm-hmm. Like, I still have a narrative dissatisfaction with it being a transportation system that I'm probably not going to be able to shake off.
Right.
But that is logically sound, and it definitely makes sense.
Yep.
So.
Cool. So that's all the responses that we got. Thank you so much, everybody. If you would like to contribute to the conversation, either, tell us things that we otherwise wouldn't have known, things that we missed, things that we were outright wrong about, or respond to, the next episode's area. It's just duckfeed.tv/contact. Yep,
absolutely. And, it's regular admin stuff, as usual. Listen to our other shows on Duckfeed.tv. Tip jar, duckfeed.tv/tip jar. Use the Amazon link. Find us on Facebook. Just kind of, iTunes, ratings, reviews, all that stuff is all very helpful to us. If you go to the, I forgot to mention in the last episode, if you go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/watch out for fireballs, I've started, as of a week ago today, I've started my survival horror run of Dark Souls, which is only using sorceries, so limited ammo, and Gravelorded. So unpredictable monsters everywhere. And it's really fun. So
cool.
It's Resident Evil style Dark Souls. So definitely check that out. And I think that's about it.
That's about it. So let's land this plane.
All right. So until next time,
Umbasa.
So the world might be mended.
And we all pray that we will have far more soon.
I also fought Old King Doran for the first time. I want to make sure I did that, and that's also really hard.
Yeah, it's a fun fight.
So, did you try to kill him?
No.
Yeah, that it's no longer fun at that point.
Yeah.
He pulls out the big guns.
You only need it to be 25% fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. After that, it becomes too much fun, and it's like too much too much salt.
Yeah. No, it's like a pizza. Like two slices. That's good. If you for some reason are forced at gunpoint to do the entire thing,
it becomes like a 7 scenario.
Yeah, it does. Somebody kicks you in the side, and it's game over.
Yeah.
Oh man,
you died.
Boom.
I remember playing Little League Baseball and having those end of the year pizza parties with the team to celebrate the fact that nobody died, I guess, and having the competition to see who could eat the most pizza. And I remember that's awful, coming home bragging about my high score 13 pieces, and not being able to sleep on my stomach because I couldn't put any pressure on my abdomen because I was going to burst into this disgusting.
A pizza eating competition is kind of like a professional drum-off where the winner is the loser.
Yeah, nobody wins.
Yeah.
The only person who wins is the pizza company.
The big pizza.
I got the high score. I got the high score in what game? Pizza Life.
Yeah. When you said that, it made me think of celebrating that no one died. It made me think of secret meetings between Little League coaches where they get together at the end of the season and just have drinks. That's we made it through another one, guys. We managed to not kill any kids. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't even. Yeah, getting your participation trophies for the whole getting your everybody's a winner speech and.
Yeah, I quit Little League after I got hit in the head with a ball.
Oh man!
It was a pop foul. It bounced off of a light post and hit me when I was sitting on the bench because, of course, I wasn't actually playing. I got hit, and I was like, "Yep, I'm done."
This is like Prayer for Owen Meany, right? Have you read the stray ball? But you had the good ending,
Yeah.
You didn't die. Yeah.
No. Well, I mean, this could be an incident at Owl Creek Municipal Field. Everything
or
now
your
is
entire life could be a ghost-esque incident.
Oh yeah,
and you think that you didn't die in that fateful day.
Dude, don't give away the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
We build to that.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
You've been uploaded into the singularity. You don't even know it.
Yeah, it's like Jacob's Ladder, except instead of having the flashes to Vietnam, it's the flashes to me in the back of the minivan, like being driven home with an ice pack on my head.
I just remember my older brother had a stray pitch break his arm playing Little League.
Jeez.
And it was pretty harrowing. Fortunately, I didn't see it, so I wasn't traumatized by it. But I remember the picture, this like young kid coming over to our house with a copy of Rambo for the NES
because he hadn't done enough damage.
Rambo's not that bad.
Okay.
I just remember thinking like, wow, like free video game.
But that game's got one of the weirdest run animations in a video game I've ever seen. The way Rambo runs in that is like he's doing starts to do the can over and over while just sliding forward.
That was the very first Stallone mocapped the whole.
Yeah.
They
do it like this.
They rotoscoped it like Prince of Persia. Oh man!
They took 100 Polaroid pictures of him doing the move,
but they got them out of order, so that's why it looks weird. Like an intern dropped them.
Yeah, we lost half of them, boss.
They weren't numbered.
Yeah. That's okay. His right leg never needs to move. So.
2 other points of order. There is no swearing policy. It is marked explicit on iTunes, just because we don't really feel like, holding back from saying stuff. So don't worry about that. And,
okay, I thought you said there's no swearing.
Yeah, I was just about to say,
yes.
Not to be confused with a no swearing policy.
No swearing policy.
There's a non-existent.
We have
swearing.
no swearing. Okay, so we have no swearing policy versus we have a no swearing policy.
Can we start saying we have a swearing policy? That makes it sound like we can't either.
Yeah, well, we have a swearing policy, which is there is no. What?
No, that doesn't work either. Yeah.
Say what you want. It's an explicit podcast.
Yes.
Cool. All right.
And then, all right, everything's good. So,
everybody want to get started?
Sure. Let's do it.
All right.
Does everybody take a drink of water at the same time? Is that like the ritual?
It's actually blood, Jason.
Yeah.
Did you get the mailer we sent?
Yeah. And if you're not drinking out of a skull, then you are not getting the full hydration.
We begin by harmonizing.
Yeah, you go up through the animals. So right now I'm drinking out of a cat skull, but eventually I'll get up to a dog and a bear.
Is that why it's like the first time I haven't heard your cat sort of in the background?
Yeah. that is why there's a mouse skull in your mailbox when you get home. So in case you're wondering.
I love the idea of this hierarchy of animals.
Of goblets. It's like you start out with like a shot glass, like a little mouse skull shot glass skull. And work my way up to a little cat cup.
Yeah. I'm somewhere between cobra and mongoose right now.
So what animal does it actually become a goblet? Like, how big does the animal have to be?
I think that philosophers have been asking themselves that for ages. I think probably human skull, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, the other part of that too is like if you're not a pussy and you can really hold your blood, like you want to go, human or up.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a teetotaler.
Yeah, exactly.
Like water's for bathing in, guys. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like the timbre of PAX is like slowly kind of changing too.
Yeah.
So like last year was a real magical experience. This year with like it's selling out in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be a kind of a different. I feel like it's going to be a little bit different. Mm-hmm. And all that trans nonsense and gone home, protesting it, all that stuff.
Yeah. Wait, gone home protesting? What?
The Fulbright company neglected to be at PAX, canceled their participation
because of Gabe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that guy's an asshole.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was not arguing. I was explaining it to somebody. I don't know if you saw in the Watch Out for Fireballs messages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw. I chipped in with mine too. Just
I didn't realize. Well, when he responded, I didn't realize that Gabe supported that tentacle rape.
Yeah.
Kickstarter, because that was there at PAX, and I remember seeing it, and like someone, like a girl, like a not scantily clad, but like definitely somebody who did not seem. And I'm not saying this to be sexist, but did not seem like she was in the industry. Was kind of looked like she was supposed to be there to kind of entice gamer dudes. Mm-hmm. Was asking me whether I wanted to play it, and it's like called something really gross, like Anime Girls, like and deep shit or something, like something terrible. And I was like, no, and I was kind of looking at it over, from another table, and I remember being like, I can't believe these guys are allowing this.
Right.
Like, this is terrible. This is really gross. And then, I was not as sensitive to that stuff as I am now.
Yeah.
Even then, and to find out that not only that they allowed it, but like the dude just like, yeah, I'll give you some money to make a rape card game. Like that. There's something wrong with that dude.
Yeah.
Like, hey, that guy's really problematic.
For some reason, I was bored last night and I couldn't get to sleep, so I was just kind of like, and I found myself like on Penny Arcade. I was trying to look back. The art has gotten so execrable.
I think it's awful.
I mean, I like their kind of like mid 2000s stuff. I thought their style was fine. However, like when you posted the Bucktooth thing, I figured that was just like a one-off kind of thing. Like that he is choosing to draw his characters like the Pita Pit things. It's like, what the fuck is in your head?
Yeah, they're all PETA faces. It's even in the mid 2000s, like I think it climbed to the heady heights of like, this looks like an average web comic.
Yeah.
Like it's really hard for me to think of ever appreciating those guys' art.
Yeah.
This is art. It's never gotten there.
It was fine.
I will die on that. It was fine. It never got above fine. However, the fact that everyone is so exaggerated and like almost like it's not even like Looney Tunes, because Looney Tunes doesn't do that, but like they all look like they're Roger Rabbit after having taken a drink.
Yeah.
I watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit recently, which is why all these Roger Rabbit references are coming up. But they're all like doing that when they're just supposed to be just like talking. And it's they're the worst.
It's
the fucking worst.
It's somewhere between like John Kay and like Pog character design. Like something like they look like a character you would see on a Pog.
The thing about John Kay is that like his characters could just talk to each other though,
right? Yeah.
And not have this like super dumb.
Yeah, and I'm putting John Kay on the good side of that spectrum.
Yeah. Just it wasn't he had some restraint, which it seems like they no longer have. Also, like I was researching it and this is not the healthiest obsession, but sometimes like you decide that you hate something and you just want to kind of like you're having fun with it and you just want to fuel it a little bit. I was like, you know what, these guys suck. Like, and I was just like, how can I confirm that bias? And when I was just reading their comics and everything, and they're really formulaic, and the jokes, the observations they're making about gaming are really obvious,
right?
And like, there's just I feel like they were like a right place at the right time, and got elevated to this weird kind of god status without really being before like the idea that games could be anything more than that kind of like derpy, like I don't think it would happen now.
Yeah.
The same way it would. I feel like the medium has evolved enough. Similar to sometimes I think that way about Angry Video Game Nerd, even though I think he is way better than those guys. Like I think he does a better product and has better observations and stuff, even though he's lots of, cartoon shit in his videos. But like even him, like I feel like that wouldn't really fly now. I kind of feel like the level has kind of raised a little bit.
Yeah.
In the discourse where like that just it doesn't work. Like they're outgrown.
Yeah. Yeah, which of course puts a cold chill hand around my neck, thinking like, when are we going to be outmoded?
We're still like if we stay, like if we change a lot, if we have opinions that change as things get, better, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like we're progressive.
Yeah,
they are static. Like our kind of like thinking and stuff of that has changed even during the time we've done the show. Like we are conscious of different things and making different observations and making different choices. Like we're as an editorial position, we have evolved and are evolving.
Yeah.
So I think that's all it really takes. Whereas like a lot of the jokes that I'm finding in these Penny Arcade things, what they are is they're like our worst sketches. The things that they're pointing out in the comics.
Yeah.
Are like our least inspired stuff that we do.
Yeah, I fucking loved Penny Arcade, like way back when. Like it would be the first thing that I sat down to go to. But
how much of it was like a time and a place? So like I'm not saying this
it's like high school. Yeah,
well, and just like, hey, these guys are talking about video games.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's why I think they get a lot of their cachet from. Like they came along at this time where it's like, oh, cool. Like, I love games. This is a comic that's kind of newsy, it's talking about new things. Like, it's just like, it's really kind of weirdly shrewd and economical for what it is.
And I can't, like right now, like I don't read any gaming webcomics. I think that they're all garbage.
Yeah, that's 100% true. There's that one. Have you ever seen that? I can't remember the name of the guy. Bob Mackey links them every once in a while, and they're not really funny. They're just kind of like wistful and well drawn. I oftentimes has himself dressed up as Link, as like a little kid.
No, I've not seen
that guy is great. I don't read them regularly because like sometimes it's just like a kid finds a cave. Like they're real beautiful to look at though. This is more of a Gary thing than I think it is a Kole thing, and I'm not saying that in a judgy way. Like they're hand drawn, which is that's kind of mandatory for me to like aesthetics for the most part. But really gorgeously colored. Like it's definitely computer colored in a way that like just looks really good. So like I should find that guy and link you to him, because some of those are wonderful. Never funny, but oftentimes just very like heartfelt and very cute and look nice.
Yeah. The only webcomics I read anymore are 3-word phrase, and I just occasionally just go back and read all of Achewood over and over again.
Yeah. You should every once in a while, if you don't now, check and see if Perry Bible Fellowship is updated.
Yeah.
Did you ever get on that tip?
No, I never got on that tip.
Oh, Cole, you gotta check that out.
Yeah. It's one of those things like I know I should. But.
Yeah, it's wonderful. They're newspaper style comics, so it's not like I've read some Achewood, but it tends to be when things are brought to me. I've never done like a full read of it, and part of it is because they're like 12-panel like story comics. Like I know that's a dumb. It's the same way though that I haven't started watching Orange is the New Black, because it's like this is 12 hours. Like it's just kind of big.
Yeah.
Like so, it's just not as it's easy to digest, but my standards for ease of digestion have been skewed so much. So I mean, and Achewood's forever been on my list. Like the stuff I've read, I really really like. But Perry Bible Fellowship are like 3-panel style like newspaper comics, but with like all this weird heart and beauty to them, and are really really funny. So it's really easy to read because they're just sometimes you can get the joke instantly.
Right.
So.
Webcomics.
Webcomics. And that didn't start as a webcomic. It was a college newspaper comic. He just started doing color versions online.
Yeah.
So, because he's also a beautiful artist. Like the, and 3-word phrase is the same. Like people aggregate that for me. Same thing with XKCD.
Yeah, I can't stand XKCD.
Sometimes like someone will send one to me and I'm like, that's funny. But I don't go look for it.
Yeah.
Same thing with Reddit. That's like how I treat Reddit. So much of the internet, I'm just like, I'm content to let my friends aggregate this for me.
Yeah. And that's what Twitter is for.
Yeah, exactly. Or and Facebook and Twitter chat. Like I just let you tell me what's good about this. I only want the best.
Yeah.
In the real position of
the only thing that like makes me not upset that XKCD exists is the one where the person says I can't go to sleep, somebody is wrong on the internet.
Like
that is so simple and true.
Yeah, it's very well observed
and captures it. And it's like, oh, yeah, cool, great. But the rest of it's like, like, blah, I'm a dork kind of stuff. And just that for the sake of itself, it just is, just kind of the whole dork identity, geek identity kind of thing, like raising that banner and being so self-conscious about rising under it and making something that is explicitly designed for people to, like repost and say like, I'm such a geek because I get this, blah, blah, blah. Like I just, ugh.
I don't disagree with you. I just like every once in a while I get, one of them that's kind of funny that pops in. It's not a grim death march, but editorially I agree with you. Like, to a certain extent, like a gaming webcomic is going to be that. Yeah. Because it's got a built-in, it's not just something done as an expression. It's done something with a specific subcultural identifier kind of attached to it.
Yeah.
So.
Do you want to read these responses?
Yeah, let's bang this out.
Cool.
So I can eat some eggs and bacon.
Cool.